Hello, everyone. This is White Wolf, and I wanted to talk about the subject of relationships. And relationships are reflections. Relationships are a guidance mechanism that we have on this earth plane. And a lot of people, like myself, have talked about twin flame, soul contracts, soulmates in a sense. Like I'm in a soulmate relationship right now at this very moment. So, understanding that every type of relationship is a form of healing, is a form of initiation, is a form of lesson. It's trying to show you and reflect something back to you, and all relationships at the core are agreements. It's trying to show us like what we're limiting out of ourselves, what we're not looking at, what we really need to heal, and also the attachments that we have. It's kind of like I had to give away an English Springer Spaniel. That English Springer Spaniel didn't hold on to the relationship that it had with me. It went on and had to form another dynamic and had to flow with different sets of people. So the dog had to adapt to its environment. So the reason why we adapt to different relationship dynamics, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a twin flame where you're with this person for 3 months and it was really great, and then you guys broke up and you went your separate ways because it was a form of teaching. Or if it's a soul contract, you had to stay with this person for a specific amount of time and you had to be married to them for 20, 30 years, and then you guys separated, right? So, and then it's like a soulmate. You've been with this person many different lifetimes. You've known each other in different incarnations. You've met each other many different times. Your chakras are aligning, and there's a recognition there. But it's really getting to the point where you see people not as objects, you see them as teachers, and you see them as gods. You see them as divine. And you see how they can use their free will as a teaching moment of expansion, of growth, of unity, of loving them unconditionally and not putting them in a box or a category or feeling like you have to use them as an analogy or a doormat to shove all of your insecurities under. So we realize that every type of relationship that we have, rather it's our family, rather it's our friends, rather it's a girlfriend-boyfriend relationship or marriage, it's a form of initiation. It's a form of teaching. It's a form of elevating your state of consciousness and seeing that you don't own or possess anybody, but they are a representation of a teaching. So they're trying to teach you something. They're trying to reflect their creator back to you and trying to give you a sense of healing, a sense of worthiness, a sense of attention. And you're allowing yourself to see through the illusion of relationships that they are all just agreements. They are literally just an agreement that you agree to so that you work out that dynamic or you work out those past lifetime progressions, and you guys have to do certain things together in order to get to the next stage of your journey. So let me know if the internet connection is good. Let me know if the internet connection is good. But it's really understanding and deciphering that every form of a relationship is an initiation and a reflection to see through more illusions, to understand really who you are and what you're meant to be and what you're meant to become. So a lot of relationships really mold our character. They allow us to find out who we really are and for our spiritual advancement. And they allow us to see how we can love, how we can relay, how we can use discernment, how we can step up into new stages of leadership, and how we're all prophets going along this journey, and we're all just trying to heal the human condition by seeing that when we look at people as possessions or objects, or feeling like you own them, feeling like you possess them, feeling like they owe you something, or that they are the bad guy whenever they want to go a different direction. Like they're the bad person because they wanted to do this other thing with this other person, or they wanted to be alone. So a lot of the times we feel like we own people, places, and things. Rather, it's a relationship with our pet, like I said earlier, with the English Springer Spaniel I had to let go of. And yes, was I sad about it for like 3 days, and yes, was it emotionally gripping and it hurt me. But how could it really hurt me if I felt like I possessed that dog and I felt like that I wasn't willing to open up to its expansion and its incarnation on this earth plane to experience a different state of being with different humans. So we have to allow people to be free in their own way. We have to allow everybody to open up to their own truth and open up to their own embodiment. So when we allow them to do that, we allow them to really change who they are. And we allow them to be accepted and endowed in the light of their spirit, because we realize that we never owned them in the first place. We never possessed them. We never had to feel like we had to have a victim consciousness about it. So it allows us to really heal victim consciousness, because we don't get dissolved in a story. We don't get dissolved into an illusion or a limiting belief or being lacking of something when we really are alone all the time. So we're never really alone because we have the divine. But to be alone means to be very powerful in knowing that you're the chosen. And some of us go at this alone. Now, I am in a relationship, and I honor that relationship, and I honor the agreement of that said relationship. But a lot of you on this spiritual path are going at this alone. And it's made for your journey to really understand that you don't need a person. You don't need a specific dynamic. You don't need to have things within your life to fill a void of the infinite sadness within yourself. You don't have to scrape your knees on the ground and pray for something to happen like this person's trying to say on my live. Because that's a distorted relationship with the Creator, because at the end of the day, the most honoring relationship within your life is having that direct relationship with the divine, and knowing that at the end of the day, that's all you need. You don't need your family, your friends, a relationship to fill a void. You don't need nice things. You don't need materialistic things. It's all inside of you. You just have to learn how to manifest that with that relationship, with that waltz with the Creator. And that's what's true at the end of the day, is realizing that you don't need to fill the void with anything, because you just need to open up and realize how spacious and how amazing you really are, because you're the scope of consciousness. You are consciousness itself. You are the manifestation of life. You are the growth and the expansion, and all of these things are just reflections and illusions to find configurations of energy to define what you are in this earth plane. So we feel like in this earth plane that if we don't have a relationship, that it's really odd. Or if you don't have a relationship with your family, that's odd. But you see a lot of people who become the black sheep of their family, they move on from that illusion because you can't have your feet in two worlds. Because you realize, am I going to perpetuate this false self? Am I going to perpetuate feeling like I need things, or I need this person to make me feel good? Or can I go on my own journey and realize who I am and stretch myself out so far and have amazing experiences that are made and designed for my expansion and to heal every part of my unworthiness? So I'd rather have that than have $1 million. I'd rather have the journey itself. I'd rather be able to meditate more than anything else, rather being on this earth plane, rather just playing basketball or having a conversation with my partner. I'd rather have that meditative state above anything else, and that's why you're here to reciprocate God. You're here to reciprocate God because you're having a relationship, becoming a God yourself. You're becoming an infinite creation. You're infinitesimally and wonderfully made because you're looking through the eyes and the scope of God's Earth energy. You're looking through the eyes of the Oracle of Love, Light, and Wisdom. You're seeing yourself in your prophetic nature of a growing organism of consciousness. And that's what the most beautiful relationship can be, is having that waltz with the Creator, is understanding your psychic abilities, how to psychically protect yourself, because we're very empathic. We have a heightened sense of awareness because we can feel energy. It's like if you talk on the phone with somebody and they're talking about something very odd and very obtuse, or they're talking about their family drama, you will feel that energy and you'll have to clear that energy. So why would you want useless relationships with other human beings that are not tapped into this transcendental consciousness? Because you don't want anything in your space that is going to distort the energy. So there's no reason to feel guilt or shame or condemnation or anything for going along your own journey and to really saying, fuck it. I don't care if I have to feel like shit for 10 years. I don't care if I have to struggle for 10 years. I don't care. I want enlightenment above all else. And fuck everybody else, because this is my journey. This is my alignment. This is my meditative path that has been laid out for me. The doors of heaven have been laid at our feet, dear beloveds. We don't have to beat our head against the wall to be blessed. We don't have to project what we don't like onto others to be blessed. Period. We don't have to perpetuate the cycle of feeling like that a relationship or that a construct or societal norms have to dictate how we live our lives, because we're here to make our own prophecy, to make our own story, to be the actor of our life, the producer, the director, the writer. And why would you accept a script that was not in alignment with who you really are? Why would you accept that script? Why would you perpetuate that cycle? It's like you read this and you're like, fuck that experience, fuck that circumstance. I don't necessarily need a relationship to fill the void in my life. I don't need a person to make me happy. I don't need family, friends, this person that wants to be with me, that wants to marry me, or put me in a trap to where if I want to go a different direction, then I'm the bad guy. Then I'm the bad guy. You're not the bad guy if you want to go a different direction. And you have to see that to love others unconditionally is to always say what is most authentically true, to be a truth teller, to lay it out all on the table, and to not care if it hurts people. Because at the end of the day, if they're triggered by it, if they perceive it into their filter that it is damaging, that is their issue. Or if they hear what I'm saying and it affects their relationship, and I'm like, oh, I'm not willing to see that. Oh my God, I can't talk to this about my partner. And I can't talk to this with my partner, or they're going to be angry at me and they're going to try to control every little thing that I do. And that's why there's always a power struggle or control within a relationship dynamic. There's always someone projecting something onto someone that is not true, like their victim story, or how they were abused as a kid, or the opportunities that they didn't get as a child. Because it's unhealed trauma, and they're believing in their victim story. They're believing that they're this victim, and they keep perpetuating and finding ways to develop this victim consciousness to perpetuate the cycle, the story, and to go along with it. And then they try to bully you and put you in a position or say something in a generalized way that makes you look like an asshole. And really, when we have like children, or like people feel like, oh, you have to be married at 30, you have to have children. Well, children are more karma. Children are karma. If you want more karma in your life, and I'm not saying don't have children, I'm not saying do not get married, I'm not saying to not have relationships, because I've been in a relationship for 3 years, and if I didn't have that relationship, I wouldn't be doing this right now. I wouldn't be able to have the wisdom that we share, and our conversations, and the way that we've healed each other, and also the way that we've transcended together, and also been able to balance things off of one another. To be a spiritual house, to be with someone, to be a dynamic duo is a very beautiful thing. But don't make it the form of enlightenment. Don't make it that is the only way to enlightenment, because I think that's very distorted. So, and I've been told in my incarnation that I'm not supposed to have children, because you have to see everyone as someone to relate to, as you're serving somebody, as you're speaking to someone, or like this message will resonate, like obviously with this one person who's hitting the like button because it's resonating with them. And that's why you should do it. That's why you should follow your alignment. That's why you should be true to who you are. And that's why you should look at soulmates, soul contracts, and twin flames in this nature, because it's very freeing. Like a twin flame, you're there for 3 or 4 months, and then you guys went your separate ways, but you had a lot of expansion. You had a lot of good times. We always focus about the negative within the relationships that we were in. It's like I had this moment where this girl in middle school, she wanted to like marry me, and I was like all about it, and I didn't want to let go of the relationship, and then she had to move away. So that was a lesson very early on, before I became enlightened, before I progressed the enlightened journey. I don't want to say I'm fully enlightened, but becoming enlightened. I was with this girl, and it was like my very first girlfriend, and we just really liked each other. We were really in love with each other. But then she had to move, and I had to like let go of it. And then there was times where we visit each other again, but we were perpetuating this thing that we couldn't let go of. But things like that in life happen so that we know what it's like to lose something. We know what it's like to lose an attachment, to be not attached to someone, to not perceive someone as an object, to not look at somebody as our punching bag, or our way that we are addressing our insecurities, or perpetuating this ego identity that we need this person to fill our void. And I know this person laughed enlightened. I don't believe anyone's enlightened fully. I don't even believe myself will ever be enlightened fully. But I do believe I'm doing better, and I'm doing better than I was. And that's how you have to look at it, is that the only relationship that really matters within your life, within your journey, is the relationship with the divine at all costs. So you allow yourself to be sensible, because you're seeing yourself as God. You're seeing everything as God, but you're also seeing others as that source of creation. And you want the best for them, but you can't force them to be a certain way, to fulfill all of your needs, to picture them as Prince Charming or Cinderella, because then you're putting them on a pedestal that they're never going to achieve. And that's why it's painful in relationships, because we feel like I have to change this person, I have to set them straight, and if they don't do what I want them to do, then they can go fuck themselves. And see, that's why it's painful. That's why it's painful. That's why it's painful to perpetuate that cycle, because we don't allow ourselves to be freedom at the whole, at the heart of it. We don't allow others to be free in that either, and we keep going along this journey very sloppy, very discombobulated, very disorienting, or scatterbrained, or not understanding how to see through the lesson of the said relationship. But look at everybody as equal. See everybody as God. See everybody as whole. See everybody as a way to elevate your energy and appreciate the people that are in your life. Appreciate everybody that is in your life. I had to lose my mom and sister in my life, so I had to appreciate the time that I had with them, but knowing that they're always with me in a different sense, in a different metaphysical way. that they're always behind me, they're always my guides. I may not physically see them, but I can see them within the non-physical essence of energy. Because you can't change the way people go and then they have to experience another state of being. So you allow yourself to within that relationship, in a sense.